Welcome back, group members. We got the whole crew here for our side session. It's me, Dr. Kristen Casey. We have KBI, Dr. Jess, Dr. J. And today we're talking about the What About Me effect. The inspo for the side sesh came from a video from Sarah the Book Fairy on TikTok. So let's jump right in. Can someone tell us what the What About Me effect is?
Who's good at summaries?
I know, it's a loaded question. Honestly, it's so loaded and I don't want to answer it because I'm hosting. So
I was going to punt it to Justin.
I was going to punt it to Justin too.
Okay.
No voted.
Just give it a whirl and we'll add in some details if you forget it. We got your back.
So Sarah the Book Fairy put together a good couple-minute video that essentially, I'm going to use her big example she kept saying, but like basically on social media, when people see content and no matter what the content is, they'll project themselves into it and make it about them. And her example was she was watching somebody do a big bean soup recipe. And one of the comments in there was, what if you don't like beans? And then she was using herself as an example. She's like, I don't eat gluten, or like, what if I don't eat gluten? Am I going to go onto every video I see with bread and be like, how am I supposed to eat this? Because I don't eat gluten. And so what she was describing is on social media, especially, you see people take content and make it about themselves, even when it has nothing to do with them. It's like they kick context aside and will try to make it about them.
Mm-hmm.
What did I miss?
Summary.
Chef's kiss. Perfect.
The only thing I would add in, and Sarah talks about this in her video, it's not the same as being like exclusive. Like, it's not when content is intentionally like excluding people, like not using inclusive language. It's like when it's specifically targeted. Like an example, I get so many curly hair videos on my TikTok For You page. I have like the straightest hair ever. And so it would be like me commenting on like the curly girl method. Do I watch them? Yes. Why? I don't know. I've never had curly hair in my life. But it would be like me commenting on it and being like, well, what if I have straight hair? It's like, well, the video is not for me. It's specifically for people with curly hair.
And I think she also mentioned, I love that as an example, because I could even think about too, when I scroll, I'm like, if something doesn't apply to me, I just keep scrolling, but I think there is a part of me too, that in my mind, I say, oh, it'd be cool if they did that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it'd be great if, but I don't comment it because it's not about me. But I think really thinking about the creator's intended audience is helpful too, because it's not all about us. There's certain things that like people who like to ride dirt bikes, like I've never been on one. I have no interest. I mean, maybe I'll try it once if KBI makes me, but like, it's not made for me. But if I was like, can't you do bicycles? That's what I do. I ride my bike. Like, it's just like, it doesn't fit, even though I'm thinking like, oh, this would be cool. This would be badass,
Do I look like I would ride a dirt bike?
You might. You surprise me every day. So
yeah. Why else would you live in Maine?
I'm here against my will. Okay. Yeah. I would choose to live in 90 million other places than this hellhole. Okay?
What about Missouri?
I would probably move to Missouri. Honestly.
No way. I'd rather move to Maine. Are you kidding me?
No. But one of the things I also really liked what she said is that that she believes it's more than just like this lack of common sense.
Yeah, she did say that.
It's more of this kind of ideal that we're creating around like this individualistic culture. And that it's more than just like lacking of common sense, or I forget the other word that she used in the video, but that it's more like how social media and, specifically I can speak to like our country, but like of this individualistic like bubble that we all are in.
So we think the What About Me effect is real, is what
Oh, I've seen it.
Absolutely.
A lot.
I've seen it. And like, part of me is like, so like, there's like 10, 15% of me that's like, but I kind of don't blame people. Like the comments suck. But like in my mind, I'm like, just the psychology of it makes sense because like you're the main character in your own life. You're obviously, we're all very egocentric, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I can understand people thinking that, and then I'm like, look at the outcome of like what that comment might do. You know what I mean? Like, I think that part I struggle with a little, you know, and freedom of speech, I get it. But I just always think about, if you're commenting that, what is your intended, what are you hoping that creator does? You know, like what's that part I that's what I struggle with, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the video. I definitely think it's real. And I think it all relates back to the system of social media. Mm-hmm. It is literally called the For You page. Mm-hmm. When you go on to social media nowadays, it is supposed to be a curated video thing for you. Mm-hmm. It's not the old days where you type in Google bean soup. No, that would make more sense to me. But you're going on there. People think this video is for them. Mm-hmm. And I'll add to that, meaning you gain more by typing your comment and putting it out there, no matter how contrarian it is, than saying nothing. We think from a creator perspective, I sure as hell do. Oh my God, every video I post, here come the contrarian comments. So I related to it. I was like, dang, Sarah, I'm with you 100%. But think about this. Why would someone lob a contrarian comment into something? They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want someone to say, hey, I also don't eat beans. But what Sarah's saying is it hurts. And Sarah, if I'm wrong, you know, correct me, but it hurts me as a creator, because I'm saying that as a creator, I'm saying it hurts me to see all these contrarian comments. But can I understand why those contrarian comments are there? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I get it. You're rewarded for doing it. You find like-minded other people. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I think to your point, like the algorithm is just going to keep pushing that shit your way because you're commenting. I mean, that's the sad part. You know, that's
why Jess don't get curly haired videos,
because she's all over that.
She watches them.
Her whole For You page is curly hair TikTok.
My defense, my daughter has curly hair, so I need to prepare for the future.
Yeah, there's a rationale. We're still judging.
And there's
a rationale there, though.
It's very interesting. It's nothing I've ever had to do in my life, but yes. No, Justin, I think you make really great points. And I think just with you said the system of social media, but social media, we receive immediate feedback in so many ways. And, and we like that instant gratification. So if somebody is scrolling and there's this doesn't really apply to me, but it's the For You page, or they're just well, I'm just going to comment to see who else doesn't like beans. Mm-hmm. Or whatever it is. Like you said, they're going to get that engagement. They're going to get that interaction. I also think back, and this is kind of, if I'm thinking from a behaviorist perspective and early childhood development, attention is attention. So I'm feedback is feedback. So even if people are commenting, well, what if you don't like beans? And people are responding to them then why are you watching a bean video? Go find lentil soup instead. They're still getting that engagement. I guess lentil's a bean, lentils. Right? It's now that I'm thinking about it.
Mushroom soup. Whatever.
Mushroom. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, what if I don't like black beans? Okay, go whatever. But you're still getting that feed, and just and I'm not comparing people teenagers or adults on the internet to young children, but if a young kid is not getting attention for doing all good things, they're going to get attention in any way.
Exactly.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We all like attention. We all like validation. We all like feedback. And I don't know what you all think, but I feel especially since the pandemic happened, so many of us became so isolated that social media is our primary form of connection with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I think too that, they've done, I can't remember when I read it several years ago, where they were studying the impact of likes on our dopamine receptors and dopamine engagement. And, all you have to do is leave I don't like beans on a bean video. And if one person likes that, that then like you get that, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little light bulb that goes off.
It is.
I was just gonna say, yeah. In the contrarian comments, they always get likes. Almost always. I shouldn't say, but so often they get like 4 or 5. A good amount of likes, and it encourages it. So I'm with you.
No, totally. And I think too, it's like those comments, like as a creator, I see it like, okay, everybody's got a different life experience. Like I could rationalize it the best way I know how, but then I'm like, why are you here? Like, you know what I mean? And I think it goes back to whatever we're saying. Cause I was going to ask you guys, how do you think the what about me effect affects mental health content? Like I think that there's like a different kind of vibe a little bit. And I see you all just kind of shuddering. So I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't have asked that.
No, I think it's a really good question. And the reason I shudder, because I can think of a very recent comment I got that was exactly this. And I won't go into detail.
Just as having a flashback.
No, basically, I made a post on passive suicidal ideation, and somebody made a comment in the effect of the what about me effect. And it was not the point of my post. And it also lacked nuance. And I tried to engage with them. And then because I do that, I'm not like KBI and just block everybody, because I was trying to engage for clarification. But I think for mental health content, in many ways, it can be even more, the word coming to mind is scary. I don't know if that's the right word, or detrimental, because we have talked on this podcast so much that mental health is so nuanced. No single post, no single video can get all the nuance. So if we're making a general, video about depression, that's not necessarily going to apply to the person that has, depression related to this chronic illness related to X, Y, or Z compared to somebody else. But we get those comments all the time. Or like I get a lot about, what about if X, Y, or Z? I'm like, that's not what the video was about.
Yeah.
And for me, at least, sometimes I feel frustrated because I feel like, was the point of my video missed? But other times I feel like as a creator, I'm like, oh my gosh, now do I need to make a video about this? Or now do I need to clarify this? I don't know what y'all's experiences are.
I mean, yes. There are lots of times where I'll get, comments, and I'm like, and I'll get repetitive comments where I'm like, do I have to then further clarify what is being done? Like in the United States a couple weeks ago, right, we had the national alert, and I made a video about said national alert, just letting people know it was coming. And if you were in unsafe situations, you had a hidden cell phone, you might want to make sure it's off. The amount of people in that comment section who are like, well, I live in Japan. Will it go off for me? I don't have a cell phone. Do I need to worry about it?
Oh man, because it's like, I know people are smart. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on.
And kind of like we talked about at the beginning, right? I'm sitting there as a creator being like, but I'm also like engagement.
Yep.
True. I mean, a win is a win,
Like a win is a win. But like to the point that I ended up making a follow-up video of just like, these are the things I'm hearing about the most. FEMA is an American agency. This is happening in America. If you're in Japan, you're not going to get this alert. And so, there are times where you do feel like that's not mental health specific, but you feel that need because you're getting it so much.
Yeah.
That you're like, okay, did I miss an important nuanced piece in this that I do need to follow up in this? But then half the people who have already commented are not going to see that video.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's like people wanting to do their drive-by comments. And I think some people want the like, some people want this, some people just in a moment, like impulsivity, they just want to say their thing and like lob it. And they probably don't have a lot of interest to circle back. But it is. I was thinking the same thing. Like, I had a meditation video. This was a while ago, so I can call this out. This person's priority forgotten. And they typed a long response to my meditation video. And they're like, I'm so sick of meditation being shoved down our throats. It's triggering for me. And no one ever considered. And it was just like a long thing. And I'm like, yo, like, within the realm of mental health, I think of this as an example all the time. Like, do you know how many people get bitten by dogs every year and develop dog phobias? And yet how many people hesitate to put their dog on their Facebook, on their TikTok, on their whatever, and not consider all the people who have dog phobias? And I'm like, and to me, it highlights exactly what we're talking about, where it's like, I'm not trying to minimize your experience, but it is literally impossible to think of everyone all the time. And I know all of us on here are all about inclusivity, marginalized groups, people who have been, systemically oppressed and continue to be. That, again, that can be a part of the conversation, but that's not what we're talking about here. It's when any video you do immediately make it about you and not consider the creator whatsoever. Or as K10 put earlier, like the creator's intent or, of the message.
Yeah, I think you described it beautifully. I think that's one of the points that Sarah made too, was like, it's literally like, you don't know what you don't know as well. You know what I mean? So like you're making a video and there's this vast nuance of like all these other people and populations you should consider the major ones, if it's something that's like, you're not including like a certain intended audience that should be included, or even like I know all of us, we do a lot of this, at least I do a lot of disclaimers, especially when I talk about sleep stuff and mental health, because not everybody has access to a bed. Not everybody has a safe place to sleep, like all these things, right? That's different than like somebody commenting and saying, well, I don't have that mattress. It's like, okay, I don't fucking know what to say. Like, sorry. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what am I supposed to say? So I do think it's really important to consider that. But at the end of the day, I kind of wonder about like the trajectory of this too. Like, is this getting worse? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, that we're talking about, I'm like kind of scared of like, is this just going to get worse? Because I experience it just like you guys have all described too, on TikTok at least.
I want to say the cynical side, and then I want to ask y'all a question. The cynical side of me says, no way anything's going to change. No way. For the points KBI made, the dopamine hit, the reward you get from being contrarian, it's not going to go away. There's no chance. And if everybody was forced to make 50 videos and be a content creator for a month, and you have to, do you think it would lessen this effect?
If you put your videos to public and not private.
Oh, like, all public.
Okay, cool. You
have to make 50 videos and put them out there. No accounts where you posted nothing. 50 videos. It could be educational, could be about your life, could be anything.
I feel like it would be easier for most people to empathize with content creators, but I don't know that it would. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because I think like you said, we're so rewarded for it that it's like, and I think there's just like a bigger picture purpose of like these social media apps make tons of money per year and they thrive off of engagement, so I just like always think about that too. Like they don't care. They're like, yeah, comment away.
Well, that's like what I said, right? Like, yeah, sometimes I get a comment. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Seriously. But then I can quickly flip and be like, that's engagement. Like, again, when it's about things like bean soup, like, and things like that, like, but I think that if more people really understood that process and how inundated, like, I think it would shift just as, I don't know if it would get rid of completely, but I think it would shift. Absolutely.
So to play devil's advocate, I do wonder, because reflecting on what K10 was saying about, it's not about, and Justin as well, we all try to be inclusive. And, when I'm thinking about the comments, when I think of the what about me effect, it is over like silly things like, well, what if you don't like beans? It's never like, hey, I hold this marginalized status and my voice should be heard in this conversation, but you intentionally excluded me. It's more of the like, what if I have straight hair? How can I use this curly girl method? You can't, because that doesn't apply to you. So my thought process is the people that, and I think we all fall victim to the what about me effect. And I know K10 said that, but the people that maybe engage in it most, if they were to make content, they would make content specifically to people like them. And if we're following the algorithm, would it just get fed to the same people like that have those same things? And then it would just kind of reinforce.
Maybe.
And I don't know.
I mean,
but then I never know how the algorithm works.
It takes a viral video. Yeah. That's all it does. It takes a video that starts to leave your intended audience. Like, a lot of this happens. It happens when your videos leave your intended audience. Like,
which they do.
Like,
that's happened to me so many times.
The hill I'll die on all the time is like, I hate when videos go viral. The dopamine enjoys it. Everything else, I don't enjoy it, because you've now left your, like, when a video hits 2.5, 3 million views, like I had a video on Facebook get currently at like 5.7 million views. I got 30,000 followers on Facebook. It has left my intended audience and anybody who knows anything about my content. Which then, that is the only, and I think sometimes with the what about me too, is like, that's the only thing you're getting of that person as well.
Yeah. I made a video. It was my first video on TikTok. I almost quit like day one on TikTok. And I wasn't even doing it intentionally. The lighting was shitty. I think I've told you guys about this video before. It was about cognitive distortions. Literally the most educational. I hid my tattoos. I was trying to be professional. I didn't know who the fuck I was 3 years ago. Whatever. Right. So I'm all buttoned up and I'm making this video on cognitive distortions. And I literally just talked about catastrophizing. And that was it. Talked about research. I cited articles. Like, it was crazy. And it went viral and it was great. And then it left my community. Like, literally I only had 50,000 people at that time. Like, it was just like a really big viral video. It wasn't my first video. It was my first viral video. And wow. Why are you using your degree to like brainwash people? Like, we can't control our thoughts. Why are you trying to control my thoughts? Like, I don't want to think about my thoughts. I wasn't thinking about my thoughts until I watched this video. Like, it was crazy. And I was like, oh my God, this is just literally research. You know, if you don't want to, whatever. Because at that time I was just doing sleep stuff, not a lot of mental health stuff. And wow, I was like, fuck this. Like, what? Like, this is so stressful. But everybody was making it about them. Like, I've never experienced this. Or when I do experience this, I cope with it in a different way. Why are you talking about it like this? When in reality, it's okay to have a different experience. Like, it's totally cool. Nobody's hating you for it,
Yeah. Part of me is like, I can't even remember what the percentage is of like how many TikTok users have never posted a single video. It was 90-some%, wasn't it?
Try it and feel the heat. Because it hurts, it burns sometimes.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, there's a part of me that's real cynical, because I'm like, unless you've done it, I think if anybody out there posted 50 videos, they're gonna get the taste enough to be like, because it changed it for me. Before I was creating content, it's not like I was, going in all these videos and whatever, but I distinctly remember what it felt like when I first started getting those comments, and how it does just knock the wind out of your sails. And you're like, dog, this meant nothing to you, but I'm reading every one of these comments. And you just, I was on Facebook. I had a good amount of Facebook friends. Nothing simulated it in what KBI and K10 are talking about when it's being seen by thousands into millions of people. And you're just getting pummeled with all these comments. It's wild is the way I can word it. But until you've had this like exposure experience, I think the vast majority of people don't care. And I'm not saying the general public is crude. I'm just saying they're like, no, whatever. Because they won't have that experience for themselves of putting themselves out there to potentially millions of people and having that feedback land back on you. Because if you did, I think you would think twice.
Well, and I think too, the screen creates a barrier between me and you.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
I would guarantee to speak that a large chunk of the individuals who leave comments like that of, you know, well, what if I don't like bean soup? That type of, that wouldn't be a conversation if we were having it face to face.
No, even if you're a stranger, I guarantee you're not coming up to me. I look weird. First of all, I have a resting bitch face, and you're never going to say those things to me. Like literally, right? So it's like that screen is like, I feel like it reinforces, like Jess was talking about in another episode, like those variables that like mediate or moderate certain things. And I think like that screen is like one of those factors of it makes it easier for people to engage in it. And then also it like just reinforces that what about me effect, because you're literally in your own bubble when you're on social media. You're just looking at your phone alone, you know, and you want connection. And if you don't like bean soup, I guess you'll find a bean soup video and just comment hate on it, you know, like.
Yeah. Is this happening outside social media? So now that all our listeners like, we don't care about you content creators. Are we seeing this outside social media?
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm thinking of those people that like you'll talk about something and they'll like always counteract what you're saying. I don't think that's the what about me effect though. It's like, oh, well, I can't relate to that. Oh, this is what it's like for me. It's like, it's very othering in a way. But I don't think it has that same vibe. It's just like, I just don't agree with what you're saying. Like it's just, and it's within a natural conversation, but I don't know.
So one thought I have is that I feel like many people on social media, and it's the nature of social media is curated. People, and I don't fault anybody for doing this, think every video is made specifically for them. Like a lot of times we forget like it is made for the masses, right? And so if a video comes across and you're like, nope, that doesn't align with me, let me comment because everything on social media is made for me. You're more likely going to comment. So to bring that to your question, Justin, is this happening in real life? I wonder if it's not as much, because when you're actually in a one-on-one conversation with a person, you're probably not talking in general. Or if I'm like, hey guys, I made this really cool bean soup recipe. Would anybody want it? And you're all like, nah, I don't like beans. Okay, then I'm not going to tell you about my bean soup recipe. Right? Like, I feel like the interaction's different. Like when you're having one-on-one interaction, you're usually engaging in a conversation where both parties are interested. Wow. But on social media, we make videos for the masses, but people take them. I mean, how many times have any of us seen a video and like, ooh, like, or commented, my For You page really said for you. Like it hits home. Yeah, right. I feel like it's just for us. Right. And then, I don't know. That was just my thought on that.
Well,
and right, because you could see tone.
And how often are you engaging with strangers in real life like that? You're not.
Can you imagine? How do you feel about bean soup? Like, it's just like, oh my God.
Tomorrow when I'm around in the hospital, I'm going to just ask everybody. Be like,
you're at the grocery store, someone just caught you, you had all the beans and things in your cart. They start shaking your cart. What if you have beans? You're like, I'm just here shopping.
I just want to make I'm shopping for me, not you. That's literally it in real life. Like you're down the bread aisle, you're getting gluten-free bread and everybody's like, I hate that they're pushing this down our throats. It's like, I'm literally like, I have celiac disease. Like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, what are you supposed to say? So yeah, I don't think it really happens in real life as much.
This is twice that our dogs have made it about them by crashing the short side.
Because he's going to keep barking because he can't get on the bed because the curtains are drawn.
He is so cute.
He's such a dick.
Now we need to forget about the example I gave of dog phobias as we
have a dog.
I do ask my clients like if they're okay with dogs just because we're in session, but I'm not asking like the general public. I don't care. It's like, anyways.
It goes back to nuance. And like, we can't predict every single human being out there, like as professionals, but as humans, like we're well intending, most of us. And it's like, I think some people, because of their experience, their trauma or whatever, they take things in a way that it feels more personal. And again, there might be good reasons for that.
All right, guys, Well, thanks for joining us for our side sesh. Share, rate, subscribe. As Justin says, throw it in the group chat for one of your besties who does this send him a little message, and just let him know, hey, we see what you're doing and you need to know. So we'll see you next week in group therapy.
Bye.
Bye.